Greetings and welcome back to A Moment of Truth with Bishop Melville. I'm Bishop C.E. Melville. I'm called to bring back the truth to the church and to preach the gospel of truth to all nations. So what does this mean? Well, according to 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15, we're to do our best. And I want to say I am going to do my best to present myself to God as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth. Further, the Bible tells us in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12, "For the word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. It penetrates even to dividing soul and spirit, joints and marrow. It judges the thoughts and attitudes of the heart." I love that part when it says the attitudes of the heart. The word also tells us that out of the heart comes the issues of life that we have an attitude with. And this comes down to being a discerning person. It comes down to being a believer, being a doer of the word, and what some people may call having emotional intelligence, but it's really spiritual discernment. It's really understanding the heart, being empathetic, understanding, loving one another, and extending mercy, and it has been given to us. So, on today's message, I want to teach you the word of truth about differentiating between a friend and an acquaintance. We often use this word friend a lot. We talk about friends from our childhood. Sometimes we say our parents are our friends. We have friends from high school. Sometimes we say our spouse is our friend. We have friends at work, and our co-workers, and so forth. But I am here to tell you, I'm actually here to burst your bubble, to let you know that most of those people you thought were friends were merely your acquaintances. They were people on different parts of your journey that you may have met for a day or two, weeks, months, a few years. But they may not have been your friend. They were just an acquaintance. And it wasn't until I reached my 30s that I began to understand what that really meant. I began to differentiate between the two. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you see, we must examine the morality of friendships and their rightful proponents in terms of who the person is. What are they bringing? What are they asking? Why are they there? And are you aware of those things? Because oftentimes they are, you're not. You are, they're not. Or no one is aware. You're just winging it. You just say, "Hey, buddy, come along." We have to be careful with this, don't we? So I'm going to take you in the word of truth, because this is a moment of truth. And today's message is taught from the book of James, the New Testament, chapter 2, verse 23. And it reads, "And the scripture was fulfilled that says, Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him righteousness, and he was called God's friend. I want to read that one more time. And the scripture was fulfilled that says, Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness, and he was called God's friend. So, let's divide the word. Let's apply truth. So we're examining the morality of our friendships and their proponents. So if we go according to this message, and there are many others that say the same thing, but this one came as the one that would best explain what a friend is. We read here that Abraham believed God. And if you know Abraham's story, you know that God called him at a very old age and told him to go to a place He's going to show him. He hasn't seen it yet, and he must take his family, his wife, Sarai at the time. Her name changed to Sarah later on. They didn't have many children, but Abraham took his wife, Sarah, his nephew Lot, and his household with him. And he didn't know where he was going. Now, if I were to tell you, or if your friend were to tell you, hey, come go with me to this place, I want to show it to you, would you go? Would you trust and believe that your friend has your best interest at heart? Would you trust their judgment? Listen, if you're going to doubt that, then they're not your friend, are they? If you're going to doubt this person that you call your friend, a lot of the times I hear people say, I've known her forever, I've known him forever, we've been friends, but you don't trust them. Or you feel some type of way if they ask you to do something, or you've seen them do certain things and it doesn't sit well with you, and it creates mistrust and it's repetitive. You begin to question your friendship. I would. You should too. Is this person loyal? And I don't like to use that word so much, because loyal to what? What are they loyal to? They could be loyal to you whether you do good or bad things. You need a friend who's going to tell you when you're doing things wrong, not to be this judgmental person, to condemn you, rather. You want someone to tell you the truth. This is not right. This is not of God. They're not discerning. They're just giving you an opinion. Because if it's of God, it's going to be confirmed. It may come to you in a dream. If you're a believer, you would get a confirming word that this is what you must do. And you'll be spirit-led, rather. You will get this compelling notion to do this thing because it's right. And unbeknownst to you, your life has been, aligning for that moment. You just didn't know. And I think that's what happened. And I think that's what happened in Abraham's situation. Because God doesn't just come on people spur of the moment without preparing you for it. That's not how He works. He's been watching us this whole time, preparing us for our life's work. He's been giving us the strength to get up every day and do what we're called to do. Even sometimes you may not feel up to it. And that's how you know that you're called. You have that mandate on your life. So is having a friend A friend is assigned to you. This person genuinely cares for you, regardless of how much money you have, how much education you have, whether you're right or wrong. They care for you, but they will tell you when you are wrong. They will tell you the truth. They will tell it to you in love. They'll understand your shortcomings, but they won't leave you there. And they will be adamant. They said, if you don't do this, they will let you know. Versus an acquaintance. This is someone that doesn't know you. They don't know the purpose that God has for your life. Or even if they don't know it, they may not understand that you have a purpose. They just think that you're just a person that they just met, and you're breathing and they want you to do this thing. Or you're telling them, you're bearing your heart to them, and they're just giving you an answer or an advice based on what they've gone through without even knowing you. They don't ask you the right questions. And that's how you can know if that person is really a friend. They will know you. They will know what hurt you. They will know not to repeat it because it's detrimental to your soul. They will know that what you do has a significance in the lives of your children. They will know your desperate yearning to serve God in spirit and in truth. They basically won't do anything to undermine you or derail you from your calling. They will understand. They will be silent at times. They will always be supportive of you on your journey. They will talk to you. They will listen when they need to listen. They will talk when they need to talk. An acquaintance doesn't have anything invested in you. They may tell you they do, but their actions will show a different thing. They come and go as they please, in and out of your life. It's like a coworker. You clock in at 8 or 9, and they're there until 5 o'clock, and then it starts over the next day. Now, how that can change to a friendship is if you discern that this person is important. This person was sent by God for you. And they're going to stay. They're invested. They're going to say, no matter come what may, I'm going to see you through life. I'm going to support you in your ministry. I'm going to walk with you and talk with you. I'm going to go to the ends of the earth if I have to for you. They will take off their shirt. They will mortgage their house. I mean, not that you want them to, but they will do whatever. An acquaintance won't do that. They say, yeah, you're my dude, you're my girl. We're friends, aren't we? But when the time comes to be tested and tried, like Abraham was, they won't budge. They won't go anywhere. You would have to tell them, I'll ask them rather, do you trust me? Why aren't you coming? Why weren't you there? I needed you. They won't budge. They won't see the importance of it. If you have to keep telling this person the same thing over and over and over again, this is not your friend. Friends are in tune. They're in touch with you. They genuinely care. They don't want to see you stressed out and frustrated and doing everything by yourself. That's why even in marriages, you should have a friendship, because that's what really lasts. That friendship part is what lasts. When the physical intimacy can no longer happen, and it doesn't mean that you're old. It could be that you're sick. It could be that you're on your time, or you're on a retreat, in a spiritual, journey. They are going to understand. They are going to be with you. They're going to be praying for you. They're going to be with you always. That's a friendship. Your people will be their people. You will eat the same food. You will do everything together. Their children will be your children. Their God will be your God. That's a friend. And Abraham believed God. And it was accredited righteousness. He was accredited righteousness. God must have been like, wow, he really did it. And that's why God couldn't withhold anything from Abraham. Even though he sinned here and there. They were friends. So as friends, you may do something to disappoint the other, but a friend will forgive you and they won't keep reminding you of it. You know, granted, you don't do it again and again and again. You know, they will give you space to grow. They should understand that we are sin and come short of God's glory, but they should hold you to a higher standard. They shouldn't want you to keep sinning because it may be your last time. You know, friends should be able to see each other grow old, see each other's children get married and have children. I mean, sometimes things do happen. Again, if you are a friend and you're giving me, let's say you had a dream and you saw my impending doom, or someone I'm married to or courting isn't of God, and you know, I'm in a frame of mind where I may be not aligning, I may be not being obedient to the word for that moment. Prayerfully not, but things happen. And you're that friend. You're supposed to be that light bearer to tell me, hey, the truth bearer, what's wrong? Is something off? Are you okay? Are you being attacked spiritually? What's going on? Let me pray for you. This isn't right. Get out. Don't talk to this person anymore. Don't move forward. As a friend, I should value your words of wisdom. I should listen if I'm a friend. If I'm not a friend, I will ignore it, treat it like it's nothing, and I will do the opposite. And there goes our friendship. It's no longer valid because a vow is broken, you know? So that's examining the morality of friendships and who it is. Is it your parent that cares for you? You know, your sibling, your teacher, your pastor? You know, it is someone that's been studied to be approved? Is this someone who is not ashamed and correctly handles the word? You know, when we're ashamed of what we do in our bodies, commit sin, we won't want the truth. We don't want that truth uncovered, do we? No. So someone who has been approved by God no longer carries this burden of sin. They're no longer burdened down with the shame and the guilt. They're free. So if you're a friend, you're supposed to uplift your friend in the Lord freely, without reservation, you know, without pretending, without setting them up. You know, and Judas kissed Jesus. He betrayed him with a kiss. He walked with him, he sat with him, he ate with him, and he handed him over. He was not a friend. So I wanted to dive into this topic to first examine our friendships a little better. Are we being the friend we say? Are we causing detriment to one another? Are we harming one another? You know, things happen so subtle. You know, we're watching our loved ones die right before our eyes and slip away. We never see them again. But can we say that we were a friend, a true friend? Or were we just an acquaintance? Someone that just came along the way, entered this person's life for a specific purpose and left it. Or we go back home to our families, and we come back together and do what we need to do, and that's it. That's an acquaintance. That's not, a co-worker. That's not, you can't call, or you shouldn't call everyone a friend. I know we live in the age of information, and we have social media, and you have certain platforms that will allow you to send a friend request or have followers and strangers, people you do not know. I think it's important that we even examine that. Do we look at the person's profile before we click yes? Or do we just want followers to just see a body there? Are we using discernment? Do we discern that this person needs the word? Are they serious? Or do we look on their timelines to see who they are? What they think about, what they read, what they share. We need to be better at being aware. Because some people don't need access to us, to taunt us, to laugh at us, to provoke, to say adverse things. And when I say adverse, I don't mean commenting or sharing what they think the truth is. Because the truth isn't the same to everybody, but it's still the truth. And so I just want you to know that we need to be better. If you say you're a friend, we need to be a true friend. Like Abraham was to God. Like Jesus is to us. He loves us. So, John 3:16 is the greatest love letter to a friend. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." And the word also says that no greater love for a friend to have than to lay down his life for another. Would you lay down your life for your friend? How deep is your love? Is your love growing? Is your friendship growing deeper? These are questions I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to discuss them with your friend, with your partner, with your spouse, with your siblings, your children. Have these discussions. Are you being a true friend? Are you supporting this person? Are you appreciative of what they do for you? Or do you just sit there and take everything and give back nothing? Are you grateful? Will you share good things with your friend? These are questions I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to discuss them with one another. So, excuse me, that was a lot today, right? Those are really some deep questions that we have to ask ourselves, because our life depends on it. You could be driving down a highway with someone right now who you think is your friend, but they're not. And then that's it. You can go to dinner, you can go over to a friend's house, and that may be the last time you ever go out. You can be at work and you thought this person was your friend, and they could be plotting something that's so sinister. You can believe that your pastor is your friend and won't, come on to you, or won't rob you and won't tell you the truth. We can spin this so many ways, because the truth is here for all of us. It affects all of us, no matter who we are, where you're from, what position you have. The truth is always the truth. The gospel is unchanging, and we must remember that. So, folks, that's all I have for today. I sincerely thank you for listening, for joining me on this journey to receiving the truth and applying it to your life, to our lives. Hope that you're receiving nourishment from these messages. I pray that you would share it with others. And I hope that you come back. So, until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me today on A Moment of Truth with Bishop Melville, where we are bringing back the truth to the church. One message, one lesson, one soul at a time.